Hello and a warm welcome back to everybody joining us from around the globe. It's been an amazing pleasure here to be at Global People Ops Pulse 2024. We'll be diving into one of the most forward-thinking people ops practices, shaping the future of work. I'm Anjali, your host for today. If you have any questions during the presentations, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A box or in the chat box. At the end of the session, we will be having a feedback poll to be filled in. And don't worry, this is being recorded so you can get back to it anytime you'd like if you've missed out on something. Now let's dive in. I'm beyond excited to introduce to you a phenomenal speaker for this session, Sean Bengry. His topic for today is artificial intelligence in the L&D workspace. Sean Bengry is a learning and development leader with more than 20 years of experience, driven with cutting-edge solutions at the global giants like PwC, Accenture, and TCS. As the founder of Stablehorn Consulting, Sean specializes in leveraging low-no-code solutions and generic AI to transform L&D processes and drive digital transformation. His approach is reshaping the way organizations think about learning and upskilling in today's fast-evolving digital landscape. Sean, it's over to you.
Wonderful. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everybody, since it's a global conference. Trying to make sure everyone is happy where they are today and then ready in the mindset to learn. We're going to be going through quickly today a lot of things. And I want to make sure that we have the time to really hit you where you are, understand that at least everyone can take at least one thing away from today. I am Sean Bengry. Yes, glad to meet all of you and looking forward to chatting with you today. And it's all about showcasing where we are today. And I think that's the biggest thing. So when we go through today, a lot of the things what we're going to be talking about today, to be quite honest with you, are just three large areas. First of all, I'd love to talk to you all about generative artificial intelligence, Gen AI, other types of artificial intelligence, not just Gen AI, even though that's getting all of the noise right now. But why is it different? Why can't we just ignore it, right? Why can't we just coast along maybe like mobile or cloud or some of those other things? Why can we not ignore it? Why is this different? Secondly, I'd love to talk about where are you in your organization and give you kind of a measuring stick to understand where you might be right now in terms of your transition or transformation. Finally, how do you get to the next step? Let's talk about that a little bit. We're going to have some fun. And some people might feel this is a little bit rudimentary, foundational, but believe me, just bear with me. We'll get to some cool stuff as well. Show you where we're going. All right. Why is this different? All right. What's with this generative AI stuff and why is it different? Well, the first thing, I'd love to start with this quote from Bill Gates. It's generative AI and artificial intelligence itself is a general platform technology. So what that means is that it's going to affect everything, just like the internet affected everything. If you can think back, if you were in the professional world 20, 30 years ago, it's hard to imagine a world without artificial intelligence. I'm sorry, hard to imagine a world without the internet, right? It is very difficult to imagine that. In fact, most of you today who are young professionals can't even imagine it because it's always been around. It's always been around since your formative years. So artificial intelligence is similar to the internet in terms of that shift. Everything changed. How we work, how we bank, how we date, how we communicate with one another, all of these things changed with the internet. This is how profound it's going to be with generative AI. It's not going to change. It's going to get faster. So the statement here is that you can't ignore it. And the more you try to ignore it, the more that the wave will probably overcome you. Talking about the next slide. So generative AI, for the first time ever, actually creates new things, right? And we're going to be talking about this. So just like a human, we create a new piece of art, a work of art. Just like a human, it makes sense that when we create something brand new that has never been seen before in the history of mankind, so now generative AI takes a lot of that role. So we can create new audio that's never been heard before. We can create new images that have never been seen before. We can create new video that has never been watched before. And all of this happens from different types of prompts, and it's getting better and better. So you can use text to sort of type in, right, and generate audio and generate images and generate video. And you'll see a little word there that says text to or self to. Yes, you can use audio to generate new types of audio. You throw up some audio, it creates a new thing. Throw up some images, it creates a new image. You throw up some new video, it creates a new video. So these things are getting very, very good. And we'll talk about that. I want to showcase some of that stuff. But what you need to know why is the second thing on why this is different is because it's generating new things that have never been seen before. The state of this is really good too. So here's some names of some programs out there that I feel that I would recommend at least taking a look at it in terms of where things are. Again, I'll showcase all of this. I know it's kind of generic on the screen. It's going to get cool in a second, so bear with me. Okay. Audio right now, the two top sort of, I think, players in the field are 11 Labs and Suno. You can use 11 Labs right now to throw in text and it'll generate audio, potentially multiple languages of audio too. And it's very good. It's not, what I mean by it's good, meaning it's past the uncanny valley. In other words, it sounds like a human. And with emotion as well. Multiple different people, multiple different voices. You can train it potentially on your own voice, etc. Suno is probably the leader right now, and by the way, the fastest growing artificial intelligence tool to create songs. You can use this through text. You can throw up another song that you've maybe thought about too, or about creating, and it'll generate the last part of the song that maybe you didn't even finish. So this is a very powerful tool right now that people are loving it and sort of musicians are loving it to create more of their art, and people who have never created music but have had it in their head are creating new songs that have never been heard before. We'll showcase that today. Images. There's lots of image generation out there. Tons of image generators out there. Midjourney by far, in my opinion, is the best. But it's really not a contest. In fact, most developers and most artists right now use Midjourney to create images to load into video, to load into other parts of the string of automation to create even better products or better creations on the back end. Midjourney is by far the best image generator. So if you haven't used that tool, I highly recommend it. We'll showcase it, okay? And video right now is all right, but it's at the moment where it's not going to be, you're not going to be able to generate full-length movies or full-length sitcoms or on TV. You're not going to be able to generate even short stories right now with consistency, but it's getting better. And the three leaders I would say in the field are Runway, Kling, and now just released this this week, I believe, maybe earlier in the week, maybe last week, was Meta Video. So all of these are getting very, very good. These are the leaders. Also, what's really good right now is Voice UI. This is why it's different, everyone, all right? And I'll showcase this. Artificial intelligence is really, really good at replicating human voices. It's really, really good, or it's getting better at and very close to replicating human emotions, and I'll showcase this today. It can adjust the emotion and the style based on the command or context. So it's not just good at, hey, please show me an angry voice, or hey, please, show me a sad voice, or let me listen to your sad voice. It's not about that. It's about working it out in context. So you can actually ask AI to say, hey, I want you to act like a grieving mother or an angry father, right? And it'll take that persona. And the cool thing now, as of 2 weeks ago, after OpenAI, ChatGPT allowed this to be exposed, is this type of real-time voice availability is now plugged in through an API for every developer. What does that mean? And why do I have it in a different color there? That means that any app that someone creates right now, you potentially can have real-time human voice connected to it to actually interact with that app and actually command it. So think of your favorite app, but now think about it as actually just talking to it, and it has a human voice back to you. I'm not talking about Google Assistant. I'm not talking about Siri. I'm not talking about Alexa. I am talking about real human voice with real emotion. Those are the first steps. This is where we are now. Again, I'm leading into on why this is all different. It's going to have a profound effect on jobs. It already has started to have that, right? And specifically on why we are here around HR, talent, L&D, it's going to, McKinsey has stated that around 54% of what we currently do is going to be automated or can be automated through the lens of generative AI and the downstream effects of generative AI. So if you don't, what that basically means, that means that half of our jobs in about 5 to 10 years, potentially, half of our jobs will be done by generative AI processes, okay? I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just making sure that you're aware that this is different. So again, to back up, why is it different? We can create new things. Why is it different? You've seen the state of media of things that we can create. It's going to affect jobs, okay? And also, it's a general platform technology. It's going to affect everything that we do and how we live our lives. So you can understand a little bit how it's going to affect us as talent leaders. It's reducing costs right now, and it's going to reduce costs further, specifically in the realm of HR. You can see that kind of as the third line down. And just giving you some stats here. What does this mean? It means that we're already starting to see cost reductions through generative AI in HR, in people, in talent, in L&D, all of those regards. We're already starting to see reduction of costs. And as you know, with reduction of costs come organizational shifts, right? And you're seeing some of that in the market right now, as jobs start to shift, ebb and flow, as markets and companies and organizations and academia start to figure out the impacts of all of this. All right. Hope you got the idea that this is brand new, right? This is something that is not going to change. It's not going to get slower. So to wait it out is not a good idea. What we're going to talk about now is we're going to showcase some examples, and we're going to talk about kind of where you might be in your organizational journey, right? All right. All right. So let's have some fun. And some of this might be foundational for each of you. Some of you might be, that's old news, Sean. I've been doing that for a while, excuse me. But other parts of this are going to be definitely new. All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, I'm going to hit this. I'm going to go right to my prompts. You'll see here, and I'll be sharing my screen throughout this presentation, but I've already created a whole bunch of different prompts for everyone to showcase. I'm going to be going through a lot of different tools and technologies that leverage generative AI, what I feel are the most powerful right now in the use case of L&D specifically, all right? Now, as we do this, just as a warning, right? Some of these we have subscriptions to, I have subscriptions to. So in other words, I might be able to do some things that you might not be able to, but they're all available right now to everyone, okay? They're all available to everyone right now. All right. Most of you have seen this, all right? Here we go. We're going to go to ChatGPT. We've all heard that at least, right? We've all heard of ChatGPT. We've all heard of the other large language models out there, but I'm just going to start here since we're comfortable. I don't know if you've seen this before, so I am just going to make sure that you all are aware we start from the foundational model. We're starting slow. I might speed up a little bit here based on this. If you don't know, that ChatGPT can help you with creating a course from scratch, from a design document. Here's an example. We're going to start with an example of you've been hired as a new barista in a coffee shop, and you need to know how to make a latte, right? So here we go. I have a prompt here. You've got no instructional design background, but you are being tasked with creating a course for the first time ever, right? For people who have just been hired that are new baristas. So I've asked ChatGPT to sort of ask to say, hey, I want you to help. I'm only 18 years old. I need it to be understandable and direct. So please help me create this course, right? You can read through my prompt if you want to. It's going to think about that. And here we go. It's generating sort of the steps that are going to need to create a course, right? And the actual course itself. And it's basically stopping at every single point if you understand my prompt. I asked it, can you please walk me through step by step of what I need to do to make a course, stopping at each step and waiting for questions that I might have. So it's going to step one, do I understand the goal? So now you have a junior instructional designer, and ChatGPT is taking the role of a senior instructional designer. Okay. And it's walking you through to understand how to instructionally design or how to build a learning experience that might be appropriate to it. I'm going to move past here. Just wanted to showcase that. I'm not going to ask it any more questions. I'm going to go back to my prompts. I'm going to tell it to stop now, and now I'm going to actually tell it to generate some instructional content. So not just become a senior instructional designer and ask me questions in the process of creating a course. I want you to actually create an outline for the course, ChatGPT. Please do this. So we're going to do that. And if you read the prompt, it says you're a world-renowned instructional designer and storyteller. You're an expert in adult learning theory. I want you to help me to create a short lesson on how to make a latte. Create a step-by-step procedure with short instructions. Use casual language, but it's accurate. And the audience is a new teenage barista who may have no knowledge of any machinery, and this is their first job. Define the outline, how long it's going to take at the end. I want you to defend your work. So in other words, don't just do it. I want you to tell me why you did what you did. And here's the outline right here. Here's the lesson. It's giving me some overview. It's giving me a learning objective, step-by-step procedures on each one, what to do, instructions, and also you'll see here that it's also giving me a short little blurb for audio. And here it's defending itself on why it did what it did using behavioral learning principles. It understands cognitive load theory, constructivist approach, and andragogy. If you don't know, is adult learning theory can be applied here. It's actually thrown those words in as well. All right. So again, moving fast. If you didn't know ChatGPT can do this, I hope you know it now. This is a quick one. It's been able to do this for a while. Just level setting, everybody. Now, what I want to do is I want to generate some stock photos here. I want to ask ChatGPT to do this. I want to use an image thumbnail for each of your sections. Take the role of a professional photographer. Please generate a Midjourney prompt. So we're asking it to create a prompt so that we can copy and paste into Midjourney, another tool. And I want you to maintain all the realism, accuracy, and consistency. So now, similar to when you're an instructional designer, sometimes you have to create images for every single lesson. Here, we're going to try, see if ChatGPT can do that for us. Here we go. We have one prompt. It's an ultra-realistic close-up of a modern espresso machine in a well-lit coffee shop. Let's see if we can do that. Here's another one. So I'm going to go over to Midjourney now, and now you'll see a lot of the images that I've used. All of the images that I've used in my presentation, by the way, were generated by Midjourney. I'm going to throw that, I'm going to throw that prompt, just copy that right there, throw it into Midjourney. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see what it comes up with. We want it to be landscape. All right. Let's get a different style. Let's see what happens here with different styles. And then I'm going to throw in raw and some other prompts that I'm just used to. 5.cr2. The reason why I did that is it sort of fakes Midjourney to think it wants a realistic picture. So it wants to create a picture that would be taken directly from your phone or another camera. So I added a couple things at the end there. It's spinning quickly right now. It's going to create 4 images for us that we have never been seen in the history of mankind. All right, like I said, it generates new images. And so this is talking about beans and talking about grinding. It's not the best, to be honest with you, okay? But you'll see this piece. We don't like those. We want to see that again. We can just rerun it, piece of cake, no problem at all. And we can create as many as we would want, as many as we want, as many times as we would want. Let's go through on the other one too. I'm going to create another one. Let's create this one right here. The good thing about Midjourney is you can say, listen, I really like the style of this picture. So let me use this picture. I'm going to use it as a style prompt. So in other words, I want the next picture you to generate Midjourney to be just like this one. I want it to look and feel like that one. I'm going to throw some other words in here. Put image, like if you have a camera, you'll understand that that's kind of the standard file naming convention of a camera. So I'm faking it out a little bit to sort of say, I want you to generate a picture from a camera. But anything can be created. I've used Midjourney to create logos. I've used Midjourney to create thumbnails. I've used Midjourney to create illustrations, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the last one. So just as a show of hands right now, so everybody's paying attention and not falling asleep. How many people out there thumbs up using the reactions, right? React. How many people thumbs up have used Midjourney before? All right, good. How many people finding this like, holy moly, I can't believe that generative AI can do this? Let's throw some hearts for me. All right. All right, so here we go. We've got some things here. We've, pretty good pictures. We're going to move forward here. We can use these to generate those pieces there. Okay, now back to our images here. We can do this. So there's another program that's really cool. It's called Luma. I'm not going to go into it too much. I'm going to see if I can move this around here. You can't see it, but I can. Luma is a great tool where you can create a short video from one image to another image. And I'll show you here what I've created before for the same type of lesson. I started with one image. You can see it as it hovers over it, and it goes to another image. It'll create all the transitions, right, to make it look like it's seamless. It looks a little kludgy right now. Like I said, video is not the best, but you get the idea. Here was 2 other images that I created on a previous course as well. Moves from one to the other. So you can do that seamlessly within a matter of 10 to 15 seconds. Throw 2 images up from the start image to the end. There's your new one. There's your video. So this works really, really well if you wanted to create maybe a looping GIF, right? Instead of just a static image on your course. Going back. I always like to be nice to ChatGPT, which is the reason why I always say great job. You don't want your AI overlords to be upset at you. So you always want to make sure they're happy. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to create some instructions now for some voice, some audio, some text. As we all know, with modern learning, we want to create audio. And here it's creating, I have asked it to create introductory sentences for each of the lessons that it just created above. And like I said, I feel the best audio generator out there is 11 Labs. Ready to meet your new best friend. In this section, you'll get a quick tour of the espresso machine. All right, let's throw that into 11 Labs. And let's use Bill. We're going to generate a speech from Bill. So I threw the text into 11 Labs. I've selected a voice, and now I'm going to generate the speech.
Ready to meet your new best friend? In this section, you'll get a quick tour of the espresso machine and learn how to handle it like a pro.
Everybody hear that? And this is how easy it is to just switch around and do another voice for social media if we wanted to throw it out there to generate that. This is literally how easy this is.
Ready to meet your new best friend? In this section, you'll get a quick tour of the espresso machine and learn how to handle it like a pro.
These are the words I want you to remember if anything comes out today from this conversation, from our presentation. This is the worst it will ever be in your life. Okay, what you just listened to, all the images I've been generating, it's the worst it's ever going to be. From this moment on, it's only going to get better. Everything that I showcase you today, it's not going to stop. It's going to get better. So you can imagine this is all cool. I can show you some other things too, but I think you just get the idea of the video itself, right? Excuse me, the audio itself. That's how quickly it is. Translations are pretty good. I would say they're 80% there. You can get that through 11 Labs as well. Obviously, there's different inflections, there's different dialects, there's different slang, etc., things like that that you have to take into account. So I don't think it's 100% there, but for some languages, it's getting very, very close. 80% there, I would say. All right, back to we can generate some icons. I'm not going to generate the icons right now because it can do it very quickly. I want to make sure that you're kind of amazed by what this can do. Again, we're showcasing the art of the possible now. It can generate icons. I can have you generate icons directly in ChatGPT. ChatGPT can create images as well. I don't think it's as good as Midjourney, but you can do that. I'm going to skip that for the sake of time because I want to make sure we get to the good stuff. Now, this is just to showcase to you the art of the possible when it comes to music right now. Most of you might not have seen this. Most of you have seen this. Some of you might have seen it, excuse me. But you need to understand the power of audio generation. And when I say audio, it's not just text to speech. I'm talking about, imagine sounding like a 1940s marketing commercial and plugging it in that way. Imagine sounding like a powerful preacher or minister speaking from a temple or a church, right? Imagine invoking that language, right? Imagine sounding like you're on a train, right? And you're hearing the background noise of the train and you're trying to have a conversation. You can do all of that right now, okay? You can tell AI to create this, generate this speech, but with that background noise or that style. What I'm going to show you right now, and this is why it's so important, is where the current state of music generation is. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to generate some lyrics for me, in which I'm going to then plug it into another program. So I'm asking it to create a song lyrics that will help me remember the steps to make a latte, right? For all those, for the different styles out there, myths of learning styles. But if you want to say an audio learner, we're going to do this. It should be a hip hop electronica mix. Please generate the tags that are no more than 120 characters in total length. The reason what you see me doing this right here is not that ChatGPT can do it any other way. I know because I've used other tools that this is the best way to get it into the program I'm going to be using, Suno. The song title is called Latte Flow. All right, here we go. I'm going to go over to Suno. I'm going to create some music here. This is, by the way, the best tool out there right now for creating music. So it's asking me what the song description would be like. I'm going to have it custom. In other words, I want to put the lyrics in. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy the title over. We're going to create the tags, copy the tags over. Right, and it does that. I'm going to add some let's add some bass and drums. And what do we got? Energetic. Let's do that one too. Let's do all those. Let's add some more words in there. And then I'm going to throw these in here. And then you can see it's created all the lyrics here with instructions in brackets. Throw that all in here into the lyrics and move my little tab around that you can't see. What do we got here? Good. So, here we go. It's creating the songs right now, all right? And in a few seconds, you're going to be able to understand how to make a latte rap style. All right, it's done. All right, so thumbs up. Who wants to hear how to make a latte? Nobody. All right. Okay, everybody wants to hear about it. All right, here we go. All right. The sound should work. Let's suppose it's going to be good. I can share this link with everyone. I'll put it in the chat even later on, but here we go.
Espresso machine where the magic gets made. Group headquartered, filter steam one.
So you can see that song has never been heard before in the history of mankind. I generated it in a matter of 15 seconds, right? And then this is how quickly you can do it. You want a different version? Here you go. Same lyrics, different version.
Step by step, we're gonna make that latte. Ready? You ready? Ready? Gotta grind, gotta press, gotta steam that milk, don't cry. Pour it smooth, pour it clean, make that latte shine bright. Step by step, you know the flow. From the grind to the cup, it's time to show. First up, we're talking tools of the trade. Espresso machine where the magic gets.
You get the idea, right? So again, this is the worst it's ever going to be, right? The idea here is not to say, wow, where can I take this in terms of learning and development? How can I use a song? My intention was not to say we can use these in a learning and development or in our people or in our talent work lives. The challenge is right now that you need to face is the fact that this is the worst it's ever going to be. So that technology right now is applied across images, is applied to across videos pretty soon. Within a year, we'll be able to generate short videos just with using text and other videos. It's profound, the change that's happening. So the whole idea here is to, again, this is a shock and awe kind of presentation. You need to understand where this technology is right now and where it's headed. Okay. Okay, so this is something you need to pay attention to if you want to be on the cutting edge right now in the last, I would say, month. There's a tool by Google that was created called Notebook LM. And Notebook LM is something you should all know as people and learning and development professionals. It's been around for several months, but the powerful thing that it was just released is the ability to actually create a podcast from a set of artifacts. What I mean by artifacts, you can use YouTube videos, you can use PDFs, you can throw in a Word document, you can throw in notes, you can throw in exactly anything you want. It'll synthesize all of that and it'll create a podcast for you, all right? A very good podcast. So here we go to Notebook LM. I'm going to create a new notebook in Notebook LM. If you're looking up the URL, it's notebooklm.google.com. Let me see here. Do we have any sources? I don't think I've created any sources. Let's see if I found some. Let's see if I can find some. Let's go back to here. Let's go with Pulse. How to make a latte. That's right. I found it. I downloaded one website's version of how to make a latte. It was just simply just a PDF from the web on how to make a latte. Here it's already started to synthesize that information for me. I'm going to let's add some more stuff. And I'm going to go back here. Here's a YouTube video, how to make a latte, but I am going to throw that YouTube video in. Insert that in. Uh-oh. It can't be imported. The transcript is not available. All right, we're going to try a different one then. Let's try this another one. And if it doesn't work, oh well, we'll work it. Let's see if this works. No. All right, so now we have a video that's part of all of my source material. I have a PDF that's part of my source material. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to, let's say in my ChatGPT prompt, I want to take all of this stuff here. That was a prompt where I want you to create an outline for me, ChatGPT, about this. I'm going to copy that entire piece of text, that all the outline of the text and how to make a latte and the instructional pieces around it. And I'm going to copy that entire piece into ChatGPT. So let's say we could throw some Google stuff in there and paste some copy text. So now you can understand the power of this, right? It's taking multiple different artifacts of different media types and formats, and it's going to synthesize all of it. Now, I want you to think about that right now. As a knowledge worker right now, what is your time spent on during your normal work week? I would argue that synthesizing information and creating an email, synthesizing information and creating a PowerPoint deck, synthesizing information and creating a Word doc is a lot of what we do. From a learning and development professional standpoint, I would also argue that how do we generate courses, our initial outlines or content of a course, right? That either whether it's going to instructor-led training or whether it's going to self-paced online training, what do? We talk to the subject matter expert, we take PowerPoint files, we take PDFs, all of these sorts of content, and we put them together, and then an instructional designer synthesizes it and creates an outline, and then the content from that. What you can see here is the burgeoning or beginning of that type of mentality and that type of tool and technology, right? It's going to be added to our tools. Articulate's already working on it right now. They'll probably have it released within the next 3 to 4 months of this part of it, but right now this is kind of where we are. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to generate. You can see table of contents. You can create a study guide from this material. You can create a briefing doc, a timeline. So if you're studying and you're in the college right now, this is by far one of the most profound study tools. You throw in your seminar notes, you throw in all of the, let's say, the textbook support material, you throw in kind of a PowerPoint presentation or your lecture notes if it's on YouTube, all those things together, it will synthesize it and give you a nice little package for you to study on that material. While that is generating, let's head back to our prompts. Can analyze, this is something that's not necessarily generative AI, but it's what we call analytical AI, all right? So I have created, there's data, a data file. I want ChatGPT to basically analyze some data. Okay, good old ChatGPT. I'm gonna throw in some data that I have already, let's say here, here's a coffee shop. I've created data, some learning data. Like, as you probably know from many of our learning management systems, we can generate downloadable reports or files of things, of data. This is what I want you to see right now. When you take that, you can actually ask ChatGPT to analyze that data and create visualizations on that types of data. This is just fictitious information that I ran, pretending that there was a coffee course and pretending that it was on an LMS. This is what the fictitious data would look like. Here's all the data. It's generating. It already immediately generated the inside or the sort of web part with all of the data, and the fake people who took it, the course, the assessment, and then the duration. Like how long it took they were in the course. This is, again, fake data, but I just wanted you to see right now as ChatGPT goes through, it's analyzing, it's thinking about it. There's something quick, here's a course duration versus assessment scores. Here is this from a perspective, it's interactive charts, it's not supported here. But you can see that, like, the frequency versus the assessment score. And you can see that ChatGPT, when they created this data set, kind of made it standardized. It wasn't really something that you would see in real life. But if you wanted to, you could ask ChatGPT, what are some things in here that a human wouldn't recognize? What are some patterns in the data a human wouldn't recognize? And it will tell you those types of things. And here's some suggestions right here. It's telling me that the scores are widely distributed, a noticeable peak around the 50-point mark. This indicates that a significant portion of employees are scoring in the mid-range. There's a relationship it's seeing, performance differences by location, depending on where the person was. You get the idea. It basically did a quick data analysis on a data set that would probably have taken you many, many hours to do. Now let's go back to Notebook LM, see if the podcast has been generated. There it is. Please listen to this.
Hey everyone, Ready to ditch those pricey cafe runs and become your own at-home barista?
I'm game if you are. There's nothing quite like that first sip of a latte you've crafted yourself.
Right. And the best part is, it's not as intimidating as it might seem. We're going to break down how to make seriously amazing lattes at home, from bean to that perfect foamy finish.
Yeah, we're talking pro-level lattes, folks, but without the fancy equipment or years of barista school.
You got it. And to help us out,
Get the idea? That's how quick it took to synthesize that and create it into a little mini podcast with real life voices. All right. Again, what's the one phrase I want you to remember? This is as worse, as bad as it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better. So anytime you see a generated image with maybe a thumb off, anytime you hear an audio podcast generated and somebody mispronounces one word, remember, it's only a matter of time. It is only a matter of time. Now, I want you just to really quick, I'm going to go through these. There's one other thing I want to show, and then we can move on. You can create PDF dashboards from PDF. So what you can do is, like, for example, I can upload entire quarterly results from a company, and it'll create an interactive dashboard that you can actually talk to the PDF itself. That's a powerful, powerful tool. It can generate multiple choice questions. I have asked it before. I want you to pretend like you're Patty Schenk, who isn't what I believe is an expert in multiple choice questions. So I wanted the ChatGPT to take that role and then create multiple choice questions based on her style. It did that for me. Generate project plans. You're a project manager? There you go. Boom. Generate a project plan to help me actually, from start to finish, resource management, budget, et cetera, on how to go through and manage the actual execution of that course itself. There's two things I want to showcase now, and I think we're coming up on time, so a lot of things we didn't get to, but I think it's important to again, this presentation is for shock and awe. One is that voice AI is really darn good right now. As of 2 weeks ago, actually, it's probably better. They just probably haven't released it, to be quite blunt with you. All right. So I'm going to talk to ChatGPT on my phone because it's only available on mobile right now in what's called advanced voice mode. So I hope you can hear it. I'm turning up the sound a little bit here, and I'm going to read this prompt to ChatGPT. I would like you to role play with me for the purpose of customer service training. I'll take the role of a new barista. I'm just hired. I have no experience. I want you to take the role of a customer entering the coffee shop for the first time and ordering something. I need to work on my customer service skills, and I want you to measure and evaluate me as a new barista based on my skills. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's get started. I'll be the customer. Walking into the coffee shop. Good morning. This is my first time here. What do you recommend?
Well, do you like sweet drinks or do you like more bitter drinks?
I usually lean towards sweeter drinks, but I'm open to trying something new. What would you suggest?
Yeah, well, if you're into sweeter drinks, then I probably would, and you're willing to try something new, maybe you could try halfway in between. Maybe something with only 1 pump of sugar or syrup, and then your regular order.
That sounds interesting. I'll go with that. Could you recommend a specific drink?
Sure thing. What flavors do you like?
I enjoy vanilla and caramel flavors. Do you have something with those?
Highly recommend a grande or a medium vanilla iced latte.
That sounds delicious. I'll take a grande vanilla iced latte with just 1 pump of vanilla syrup. Thank you.
Great. How did I do?
You did well. You were friendly and attentive, asking about my preferences and making a personalized recommendation. Next time, you could try to offer a bit more information about the drink you're suggesting, like its ingredients or flavor profile, to help the customer feel more confident in their choice. Oh,
Yeah, right. And that was something I just made up on the fly, like last night, really. All right. That's how good the technology is right now. So if you're thinking about like simulations in terms of how you can bring those forward, again, this is the worst it's ever going to be. This type of technology is going to be in everything that you see in learning simulations going forward. Okay. And then the last thing I want to show, and then we can just to show you the art of the possible, is what I'm seeing is you're going to hear words like AI agents. And what I want to show you a little bit about what I've created for an AI agent. So not only can you have AI actually perform specific tasks, but now you can actually add it to parts of your workflow. What you're seeing on the screen right now is a tool called make.com. And essentially, I just created this on the fly last night. So let's suppose you wanted to create simple course creation, and you wanted to automate that whole thing based on surveys from a prompt. So what I mean by that is this. We have, you can use Google Forms, Microsoft Forms, SurveyMonkey, and you can dump it into Google Sheets, right? Or dump it into Microsoft Excel. Then what could happen, that is the only prompt you need. Let's suppose you would like it to create, let's say, create a course on making a latte. It would then, the Google Sheets would then send those things to ChatGPT with your prompt saying, I want you now, based on this information, to create audio prompts and visual prompts for the five lessons that you create. It could then send those to you for approval. Then it could repeat the process if you didn't approve them, right? You could go back and basically repeat it. Once it's approved, it routes the text prompts to 11 Labs, the tool that we just used, creates all the audio, sends it to Google Drive, saves it, sends it and puts it into a Google slide, right? And then creates a course on Canvas, LMS. Right? At the same time, it sends the image prompts back to ChatGPT that you've approved, creates the images, drops them into Google Drive, creates the images in the same Google slide deck, and then updates the LMS course right there. So right now you're seeing the burgeoning or beginnings of just having an AI agent replace many of the steps that we are taking many, many hours to create. And this is just the beginning of what you're seeing right now. Most of what you're seeing in terms of being able to connect all of these dots are going to be added to a lot of the tools that will be added to many of your workflows, like Microsoft, like Google, whatever tools you're using on a day-to-day basis, you'll be able to do this. Okay, now, many things I could go over, but I just wanted, again, shock and awe. We didn't get through any of this presentation at the end, but I thought this was probably more important to let you know kind of where things are so that you could prepare your mind in terms of where things are headed. All right, I'll stop there for now. Do you have any questions? Because I think that might be the best use of our time for the next 4 or 5 minutes. No questions. I can go on if you want to, believe me. I could go on. There's some questions there. I don't know. Anjali, maybe you can help facilitate if there's a question that I'm not seeing.
Sure. Not yet. They've loved it, that's for sure.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I mean, I guess from a thumbs up
A
perspective.
lot of likes
Hello.
and yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, thanks for opening my microphone. So I wanted to add something to this artificial intelligence segment. I last week attended to a seminar from iBrokers, that's from Argentina here, and they were talking about augmented reality and virtual reality on the training for pharma. It's a healthcare company, and how they use holograms to explain all the healthcare stuff, and how that helped the people learn, understand, and the augmented reality, they apply all the learning and the stuff, and since it's like medical stuff, they can practice, they can make mistakes, they can mess up and learn from that on a virtual reality. And that's not only a learning point, it's not using anyone's life. Like you can mess up and nothing will happen. So all these things that are next generation for us, basically, it's amazing how everything comes together and how it's gonna reshape the future.
Luke, thank you for that. I will tell you from a generative AI perspective and how AR, our augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality, and XR, extended reality, kind of the merge of the two, are kind of connected. This is my belief right here, is that we haven't achieved a point yet where augmented reality and virtual reality are everywhere. There are going to be specific use cases that work really, really well, right? But what I will tell you is how AI falls into it, is this quote right here, what I would recommend. Similar to me having a conversation with somebody who was the age of my father when the iPhone was created, and they couldn't grasp the idea of a screen being able to generate or render a button in glass. Because every button up until the point of, before the iPhone, at least from a mass production standpoint, was a tactile button. It was a physical button, like an old telephone, right? Kind of thing, or a button you pressed that was, like had a rubber top on it or had a metal top to it. Everything was tactile, right? There was no glass rendering of any what was called a button, this sort of little green thing that would appear on the screen that you could touch and interact with. It was a profound conversation I had because they could not understand how a screen could change real time into buttons or information, and then again, and the next step, change to a different screen altogether. It was completely foreign to them. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that generative AI, and this quote right here that you hear from Jensen Huang, right? You have to understand he, by the way, CEO of NVIDIA. This is going to be as profound for me describing it to you as well. Every single pixel in whether it's artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality or virtual reality in the future, or even glass that we actually interact with right now, is not going to be rendered. It's going to be generated. It'll be commonplace in 5 to 10 years to walk up to a screen and tell it to do whatever you want it to do, and it will generate that. So AI, and this is how AI meets AR. When you're going to be in virtual reality goggles, every single environment that you're in, every single layer that is on top of reality is going to be generated on the fly based on what you're doing and what you are seeing and you personally. So if you think social media is addictive, wait until generative AI gets its hands on virtual reality, because you're going to be in virtual worlds that are generated on the fly that are specific to your interests. And then training is going to become commonplace in kind of anything you want to do in that perspective. So thank you for that point. I'm just throwing it in and connecting the dots with generative AI. Probably one more question.
Yeah, we're running out of time, Sean. We can take one more last question. Will the dependency on AI affect our ability to think and study? Is someone's question here. Would you like to answer that?
Absolutely. It absolutely will. I've already seen it happening to me, especially. This is where I think AI can really augment. If you're an expert at something, AI can automate the things that you have found tedious because you know exactly the questions to ask, right? I feel myself, I'm a good instructional designer, therefore I can automate instructional design and I can see where it didn't do quite as well, and you move it this direction, or I can ask the right words and say, I want you to have this style or not this style, or generate a different outline or a different media format, because I've had that experience. For a junior instructional designer who doesn't know the questions to ask, it's going to be dangerous, because what's going to happen is it's going to generate things that they have to do in their job, but they don't have the ability yet to know what right from wrong or good from bad. So the same thing for me. If I was promoted to a chief executive officer, a CEO of a company, and I started to ask ChatGPT how to do my job, I have no context on what's right and wrong about the decisions that it's making, right? So my point in saying is this: the most effective people right now using AI are the ones that that they're experts at, the domain knowledge they have, or the domain knowledge right above them to which they can provide context to and learn from. If they go beyond that, then it is absolutely dangerous to use. All right. Thank you. everybody.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Give me maybe like a shocked face with the little mouth open if you freak and thought something was crazy today that you're going to go back and use. All right. I really appreciate your time. Awesome. And again, like I said, the one thing you can remember from this whole presentation is that this is the worst it's ever going to be. So go out, and if you want to get this embedded in your organization right now or move in that direction, start using these tools. Start playing and start showcasing some of the examples that I just showed you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sean. That was a fantastic session. Thank you for walking us right through into the future. Thank you. Thank you. Participants, we'll be putting the feedback poll at the side, so please fill it up for us. Thank you. We'd be very appreciative of it. We'll be back in the next 5 minutes. Thank you so much.